So let's start. Yeah, and welcome everyone to another Blocklike test panel. And I'm your host, William. And just let me introduce myself. And previous experiences at Hill Investment Intern at Hill House Capital and also Gallon Capital and also side partners. And the third time being entrepreneur. Yeah, but actually based in Web2. Yeah, and also still a member of AIGC partners, AIGC projects with some Alibaba partners. And first of all, thanks Blocklike for having me here, and really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone for taking this time to join us. For today's panel, Blocklike has invited several amazing projects to discuss the current development of Web3 platforms and also the future of Web3 entertainment. Yeah, they are Ian Hong from FNCY, Freddie from NodeReal, and it's really great to have you guys here. Let's look forward to hear some of your sharings today. Yeah, so now let's get to today's topics, the future of Web3 entertainment. Before we start, can you guys introduce yourself and also your project briefly? Yeah, then let's start with uh Aoha. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that intro.
Yeah, and also sorry to interrupt. And there's Li Zhu from BNP chain. He's coming. Yeah, sorry for that.
yeah, I think he's in here now.
Yeah, he's in here now. Sorry for that. Yeah, and yeah, and how you can go first.
Hello. My name is Ian. I'm from the FNCY team. I'm part of the business development team here at FNCY. To give like a brief intro of what FNCY is and what we're trying to do is we are a platform, a service provider trying to bring blockchain down to everyday life. So what we're trying to do is we're pursuing to bring Web3 to the everyday people so that anyone that has no knowledge of blockchain or Web3, they'll be able to enjoy all of what blockchain has to offer. So our FNCY platform, we have a platform called FNCY, as well as our own main net that we launched alongside with NodeReal called FNCY. And our native token, our native coin is also called FNCY. And what we offer on our FNCY platform are a wide array of content ranging from games, webtoons, web novels. We have NFTs, commerce, socials, and all of these entertainment content are available on a single platform, which we are building called FNCY. And like what the topic of this panel is, we're trying to bridge the gap between Web2 and Web3 and trying to make that transition into the blockchain Web3 space as seamless as possible.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool introduction. Yeah, and let's have NodeReal.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, William, for having me today. Right. So, really officially, thank you, Blocklike and William, for hosting this. Pleasure and great to be here today with Ion and LZ from BNB Chain team and FNCY team as well. So, I'm Freddie. Nice to meet everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm the head of growth with NodeReal. I'm a little bit of experience about myself. I think prior to joining NodeReal, I spent some time in the financial industry. I think a span of 10 years there. That's where you can roughly gauge my age and all that. I think I'm the oldest among the panel here. So and so that's from my experience. And prior to after joining the financial industry on the payment side of things, I took a short span and trying out something different. I joined BNB Chain in a span of a few months time, and before that, after that, I joined NodeReal from there. So NodeReal officially has been 1.5 years right now. I think one year and about 4 months. So that's how old we are, and there are a few of us that came out to have this startup, right? So NodeReal, the idea and the mission of it, right? We're actually a one-stop blockchain infrastructure provider. We aim to provide scalable, reliable, and efficient blockchain solutions for everyone, from developers to projects, where we aim to also bridge the adoption, growth, and long-term success of the Web3 ecosystem together as well. So that's where we wanted to play a part. If you look into our website, there will be a slogan that make your Web3 real. That's where we wanted to bring in and materialize this together as well. So if you look into our websites and just wanting to share a little bit summary of where we achieve and where we come from in a short 1 year span of time, right? We have a wide range of products and support for multiple chain. Today, we not only support EBM chains, but also move chains like Aptos. So we have 8 chains that we supported today. Happy to have you guys try it out. You guys can check it out on our websites and all that as well. So those are our products and services in place, right? Like typical L1 chain, the usual suspects like BNB, Ethereum, Polygon, we have support and all. So we wanted to share a little bit in our product coverage. So we have the basic RPC and API services that we do, that we provide for projects that build on using this infrastructure. It gives them the ease of not wanting to worry about the infrastructure side of things. That's where we take part of the responsible of the infrastructure, while the projects like FNCY continue to build on and publish games and all that. So we will take care and make sure that the infrastructure is scalable and reliable on that front. I think that's where we find the synergies of working together. And on top of it, right, we have a couple of things to share, like API marketplace. This is where we do renew. We'll keep it as a separate topic. Just wanted to bring it through, right, for quickly on this round. So we have one product that differentiates us from our most of our competitors is this Scimitar product. Scimitar is where projects can own their own blockchain, like how FNCY does it today, right? We'll have FNCY to look into and sharing more of how FNCY is different, how FNCY really powered the Web3 entertainment side of things. And that's where our role and responsibilities will lies on, and our focuses will be a little bit more really on the infrastructure. So our infrastructure, right, we work very closely with BNB chain and also contribute to the BNB chain ecosystem in terms of innovative and also new things to be introduced. Say for example, today you will see that BNB chain have application chain, ZK BNB, and upcoming roll-up solutions and all that. I think it is no secret and sugarcoating that NodeReal is also playing a part to contribute as one of the contributors as well. So that's where we are and where our focuses are. I think in the interest of all the infrastructure growing and all the innovative stuff that's happening in this year, right? That's where we will see a good part of us contributing back to BNB chain. Yeah, that's pretty much on our intro. A little bit long, sorry about that.
Cool. Great to hear for that. Yeah, and let's have Li Zhu. Yeah, just like introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks, William. So first of all, before I start, I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year, be it the viewers or the panelists. So it's always great to see a nice colleague, ex-colleague in the panel in Freddie, right? So very happy to be part of this. So let me start with myself and just a little bit more myself than BNB Chain. I've joined BNB Chain since mid of 2021. So it's about a year and a half, nearly 2 years now. It's been quite an adventurous journey. So about BNB Chain. So BNB Chain is the largest public blockchain by DAU or by transaction volume. So in the 3 years that we have been active, I think our results are stellar. Over 3 billion transactions processed, over 2 million DAUs on average. And I think recently we had 230 million registered users in terms of addresses. And that's far more than any blockchain has to offer. So on our ecosystem, it's thriving. There's projects from all, industries and all. And we have over like 1,300 projects that's active live on BNB Chain right now. So today, very happy to announce that, FNCY is building on the sidechain PAS of BNB Chain. And I'm really excited to see what's coming up next for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for you guys. Really welcome. Yeah, that's a pretty good introduction. And I also like Will Guys' website. It's just like really cool. Yeah, so let's drop into the first question. So internet has drastically changed the entertainment industry, such as movies, shows, music, games, yeah, and so on. It really changed how we express our creativity and appreciate what others have created with their creativity. Yeah, but actually Web3 seems to take the entertainment industry to another level, maybe like a really higher level. And can you guys tell us any representative scenario or any real examples of these transactions? And also tell us what your ideal Web3 entertainment scenario where Web3 is adopted like internet nowadays is. Yeah, so yeah, like maybe Freddie, you can just feel free to share what's your opinions.
Sure. This is the part that I think I wanted to give the spotlight to Yon first, because on the entertainment side of things, right, I think he's more expert than me, and I will chip in and after
For sure,
Yon.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a great point that was brought up. I think if we look at the inception and the start of Web 2, it's a good way to hypothesize what's to come for Web 3 as well. So like if we look at the start of Web 2 and what it ultimately brought that really changed the world was user-generated content. From Web 1.1, it was like minority making content for everyone. So a small handful group of people making content like web pages for the masses. And the web was used more for like information consumption. So like a more of a one-way street. With Web 2.0, it evolved into everyone making content for everyone. So it quite literally connected anyone from anywhere around the world to anyone from anywhere around the world. So social media and social presence, social elements really played a crucial role in bringing Web 2 to what it is today and really pushing that Web 2 drive. And everything from like games, blogging, image and video sharing, communication, it all had like a added element of social built into it. And so ultimately it went from like a one-way street to a two-way street. So if we look at Web 1.0 to 1.0 as a one-way street of a information consumption type of thing, Web 2 was a two-way social UGC type of field. And I believe that Web 3 then it'll be evolving into, or it could be characterized as more of like a highway for ownership, immersive social interactivity, and also value capitalization. So so going a little bit more deeper into those three pillars, with of course the introduction of Web 3.0 and blockchain, users will be able to own the content and the content that they create, and this will of course be verified on blockchain for secure and transparent recording. So this can be in the form of NFTs, and also for social interactions, I believe that it'll from Web 2.0 social interaction to Web 3.0 social interaction, it'll enhance even further. So immersive and connectivity, that'll be that can be characterized with the metaverse. And finally, with value capitalization, what I mean by that is you'll be able to monetize from the content that you create. We have seen small glimpses of this with platforms such as YouTube, as well as small glimpses of this with P2E and like X2E, like with the introduction of like P2E games and stuff. But I believe that's just like the tip of the iceberg, and there's going to be so much more. And to give an example, I think we can take Netflix as an example. When we look at Netflix from their get-go, from where they started off as a send in mail DVD service provider. That can be seen as like Web 1.0. And then that evolved into a streaming service platform, which is what we see today, Web 2.0. Of course, this is just a prediction, but with Web 3.0, I think that they can go into the realm of like giving users the ability to own the content that they consume, watching the content on the metaverse with their friends, as well as also profiting from watching the content with like watch to earn. But as I mentioned, that's just like the tip of the iceberg. the playing field is infinite. And yeah, I think that's just the start, but it's a lot of possibilities, and yeah, we're at the forefront here at FNCY trying to provide that future.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, actually, yeah, there's like innovation here for the Web3, like all of things like games, and also like what you just mentioned is Netflix, those kind of streamings that coming into the Web3 areas. And also, yeah, there's like, yeah, maybe like you also have NFTs, right? Yeah. Yeah, and also, yeah, anyone else wants to share with his opinions?
Yeah, sure. I think I wanted to chip in on Leon's point on this as well, right? I think he put up a very good overview of how this has been progressing and all that. I think in the Web3 entertainment space of things, right? I think two takeaways for the viewers today is that I think Web3 really implements some of the changing of the incentive structures, like how NFT has been come in place and all that, right? Today, if you have an NFT, for example, yeah. So you have NFT, you get reviews and even like priority pass to go into certain events or collectibles and all that. So this really gives a lot of empowerment back to the users and all that. So this is where I think it really powers the adoption and bringing people in as well. So that's one on the incentive structure that I see that in the Web3 entertainment that it can really propel and goes from there. And another thing is that ownership structure of things, right? Because when you publish something or you do something, the ownerships of it, right, is that you don't have to leverage another platforms to do it as well. So you content creators and all that, they actually own the items of the things that they created, and this gives them the flexibility and the ownerships of moving their assets and all that together. So on these 2 points, right, just wanted to quickly elaborate that this is where it is optimum and outlook good for the entertainment industry. But I know that there are also some of the issues like discussions or debates like gas fees, adoption, how easy to use and all that. I think we will dive into it later part of this conversation. But and at the same time, for now, I think the overview of it is good, and we're having we implemented or maybe introduced like incentive and ownership structures that really helps brings the entertainment to the next level as well. So this is where I think that can really bring in the adoptions of things. I'll let LZ chip in and see maybe BNB from his side he has another view on this point as well.
Sure. Thanks, Freddie. And I mean, thanks for the great answer from Yon and also to Freddie. I'd like to chime in just a little bit, right? So, like Ian correctly pointed out, the difference between Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. So, in more technical terms, I think Web 1 is what we refer to write-only web. Basically, it's a one-way street, like what he mentioned. So, someone creates the content officially, publishes it, and people can actually read and obtain the knowledge, the information. And for Web 2, it's a read and write creation. Basically, it allows users to do UGC, right? User-generated content. So be it people creating mods of games, people creating their own video content, their own game contents. This is where this era, people were incentivized to actually do different things, to create and find their own audiences. For Web3, honestly, I really dislike the word Web3 because there's no guidelines or there's no structure to determine what's Web3 and what's not. So in my own definition, I think Web3 is how we can read, write, and execute. So by execution, I think it allows users to hold basically everything, the control in their hands. So like Freddie pointed out, not going through an intermediary. So in blockchain, I think this concept is called trustlessness, the need not to trust anyone. So this is basically how, on the technical blockchain side, people largely agree with these concepts. So on the entertainment side, this is personally my very personal interest, actually. I really like to see how we can combine entertainment on blockchain. So earlier last year in 2 years ago, 2021, we've seen many games that popped up, play to earn games. So in this game, for example, like Axie Infinity or on BNB chain, we do have games like Crypto Blades, Crypto Mines. I mean, although those games have kind of faded as time goes, a lot of value is actually derived from the players having the ability to own, like really own the assets they have in the game. So a simple comparison is this. When I was young, there was a game called MapleStory, right? When the game kind of declined, the company had all the rights to pull the game out. And if I'm a player who spent $1,000, $10,000 on items in game, I would lose all control over the items. And so in this current era, for example, in a game like Axie Infinity, even though the game servers may be down, I still do own the rights to the assets, right, in forms of NFTs. So I would still have the access in my account. I'll still have the tokens in my account, my wallet address, and someone, a community mod, a community builder, they could actually relaunch the game or even create a new version of the game utilizing the same assets. This is kind of I would say this is more on the higher level. So moving on from games, right? We do have the entertainment aspect, which consists of like the biggest the entertainment, right? Basically drama, music, K-pop, this kind of thing. I think in those sectors, what blockchain can be utilized for is actually the engagement aspect of things. So like Freddie pointed out, having an NFT that is able to grant you access into special events, priority tickets, or having even an NFT that potentially could record the number of times you went to a concert of your favorite artist. It adds another layer of engagement. And this is what kind of bring fans together and they make them feel more involved in this. So I think this is just my take on Web3 entertainment space. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, like you mentioned for the Axis of Infinity, yeah, it is really a big push for the GameFi, also for this kind of entertainment industry. Yeah, I remember this like from like 10,000 DAU to maybe 3 million DAU there. Yeah, yeah, this is a good push. And also, yeah, actually for the creativities with some henceforth find new ways to create their contents using the computer generated backgrounds besides being able to claim that the ownership of their work and also get paid directly by the consumers. Yeah, yeah, so that is actually, yeah, this kind of innovations and also the creativities of today's entertainment in Web3. Yeah, and also, yeah, thanks for guys, yeah, for this good answers for this kind of questions. Yeah, and let's come to the next questions. So what are the standards Web3 platforms that carry out entertainment must have? In other words, maybe like what kind of Web3 products focusing on entertainments do users and the markets need? You can just share what's your opinions from the perspective of normal Web3 users or the Web3 builder. Yeah, and also you can also like, give some examples of your own product. Yeah, maybe in her from FNCY, you can just go start with this.
Yeah. I think user experience, it must be seamless and easy to use. And like I mentioned, what we're trying to seek here at FNCY is trying to bring blockchain down to life, make it as easy as possible so that anyone that has no knowledge about blockchain can use our platform. That being said, it's not going to come without a learning curve. And so if you give like a person from like the 1990s a smartphone and tell them to stream Netflix or watch YouTube videos, they're not going to know how to use that, you know? So, and it's on our job as service providers, as the builders, to educate the community, to provide that knowledge so that that learning curve can be tackled and that users will be able to use our platforms. So for us at FNCY, we strive to provide this guidance by creating easy to follow guides and guides on our platforms such as Medium, and trying to educate the community, educate the users so that they'll be able to onboard and use our platforms as easy as possible. With our guides, we try to make it as easy as possible to understand, using common language, and trying to avoid like technical jargon as much as possible, and being as informative as possible, and communicate with our communities on like our Telegram group or Medium, Twitter, and trying to be really transparent and communicate with our user base. And in the future, we'll also be trying to educate and develop ways to educate our users as easy as possible, diversifying in the forms of guidance as well. But yeah, I think getting over that learning curve, getting over that hump would be key.
Yeah, actually, it's still maybe I'm gonna be educated.
Yeah. I mean, we're all on the same journey, you know.
Yeah, but I think a lot of us are still on the path as well, right? On the learning, and every day there's new stuff that we learn together and all that, especially on the infra and the tech side of things. I think I'll chip in on the part more on the technology side, right? So in terms of our experience that how platforms and projects can demonstrate their strengths on this front is really like said in terms of the customer experience and all that. So in that front of things, right, in terms of seamless, reliable or services and all that, I think is very crucial for every partners and every projects to look out for and do as much testings as possible and all that, right? So just to make sure that when the launch and all that happens, I think on the very basic side of things, we need to strive for good impressions on that front. And on top of it, right, because see, today we educating and bringing more people of coming in from Web2 to Web3 and providing mass adoptions and all that. I think that another crucial things that we will discuss is the problem of like gas fees and all that. That's where we come in as a solutions provider and all that. Make sure that we customize the gas fees as low as possible. How we can do it from that front. So those are the innovation parts that we come in. Say for example, on BSC chain and all that. Usually when layer 1 chain gets congested, we will start to promote application chain and all that. So that traffic's drive to the application chain, making sure that it doesn't get interrupted or get slowed down by the common traffics and all that. So that's one on the application chain. And in terms of putting through transactions as fast as possible, seamlessness, zero knowledge, roll up solutions and all that. Those are the things that I think the tech side of things are still at the early stage. There are a lot of partners have launched and also doing a lot of this ZK EVM compatible stuff and all that, right? So this year, I think on the tech side of things, we will see a lot more of this materialize from the tech side to really power and really help the adoptions of that front from Web2 users to Web3. So the gamers, the clients, actually they feel no differences when they come on board. When you adopt to a new stuff and all that, it has to be that seamless and that easy approach that it doesn't cost too much hassles and all that. So I think not only on our side of things, I think a lot of ecosystems layer on, and even like KOLs like Vitalik from Ethereum also mentioned that there are new stuff to be implemented and all that to really help this front of their side of technology. So on our side here, as NodeReal play a part, right, it's more towards the sustainability and the reliability of the main RPCs and APIs and all that. Then on top of it, right, it's also other other innovation solutions like for projects and all that, like how application chain is being adopted by FNCY. So you will get to see a lot more these customization fees and validators and all that can really help to power the FNCY chain and make it seamlessness and reliable as it goes.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I totally agree with your points. Yeah. And yeah, I also have Li Zhu to share with your opinions.
Oh, sure, of course. So I mean, Eon and Freddie like really wonderfully wrapped up the portions on entertainment aspect and also the technical aspect. So I'd like to go into an aspect where not really a lot of people really think about the user experience. So like on Eon said, right, the learning curve is actually very steep in crypto or like in blockchain. You do have to understand block time or the technical jargons, and most people do not have the time or even the interest to dive that far. So in my experience with maybe like 100, 200 DApps across the past 2 years, the best DApps actually tends to have a few of similar characteristics. So an example I really like to point out is StepN, the walk to earn game. So as a user, they wouldn't even know that this is an on-chain application, right? Basically, they open the app like just any normal Web2 app there is out there. They click start walking and they start walking. So somehow the shoe appears in the wallet, somehow they get the rewards, but they do not need to understand that fundamentally below the app itself, it's actually powered by blockchain. It's a real transaction, and they don't have to pay gas fees and all, but the gas fees is actually taken part of the rewards and all. So I think that has shown tremendous success. It has introduced blockchain to many people, and I think this is a very good learning point for the DApps that's building. How do you make it so that the users doesn't feel any friction when they're trying to come on board? I think that's really my point in this.
Yeah, thanks you guys for sharing. Like, yeah, I think maybe like this entertainment of the game, and also this entertainment for the technological base would be really for the combinations that would push this kind of areas to push higher and also deeper. Yeah, but actually, yeah, there's other things like a smart contract, and also the preserving rights, and also this kinds of technological things that we have to care more about. Yeah, not really for like gaming. Yeah, for this kind of things. Yeah, and also maybe like can Hash tell us more about NFT projects of you? Yeah, maybe fancy. Yeah.
Sorry, what was
So
that?
can you tell more about the NFT products? Maybe like what do you actually do for just helping consumers here?
Right,
And
right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, for us at Fancy, we last month in December we collaborated with a project called BAGC, where we sold BAGC NFTs on our platform alongside their platform as well. We had a K-pop idol NFT with the K-pop girl group called Iris. We have a couple more coming out, I believe later this month or early February with that K-pop idol group. We also have partnerships ongoing with some sports teams. I'm not at liberty to reveal who they are or what kind of NFTs they are right now, but yeah, they are in the works. They are being developed right now, and especially with NFTs, I think utility is going to matter even more. There's still like common people think NFTs are just GIFs, like why would I need to purchase a GIF that I can just search on Google? But you and I know, we all know that they aren't just digital images, but it's the whole ownership element, the whole the utility that they provide that's going to matter, and I think that goes hand in hand with not only NFTs but also games and just entertainment in general. I think content is key. If you make good content, users will come. And so yeah, especially with games, since our mother company, Netmarble FNC, we have that history of creating AAA games and developing these games that brought in millions of people. We believe that that history, that knowledge, that record will transfer over to Metaverse World, Fancy, and we'll be able to bridge that gap between Web 2 and Web 3.
yeah, the content is really important. When you have a good quality of content, like there's user base is pretty good and it's large, and a lot of users want to join. Yeah, and that is really important. Yeah, so do you guys think that for this kind of new area of entertainment of Web3, is there any business model or like an economic model here right now? Where like, what do you guys think? You can just like share with your opinions about your projects. Yeah. maybe totally for the industry basis.
So like hurdles faced, there's a lot of hurdles faced. I think like even just wallet creation itself is pretty difficult for the average user. Yeah, that's something that we're trying to solve here at FNCY as well, trying to make that process easy. So for example, when you create an account on FNCY, a wallet is generated automatically so that users don't have to like go through that stressful or possibly stressful process. Yeah, trying to tackle all those hurdles faced in the easiest way possible.
Yeah, and also like for the next question, we can have like people still find difficult to join the Web3 communities, right? Because it's so totally different about how they engage with Web2 services. But however, like the example would be like the Starbucks Odyssey project, for example. I believe that Starbucks is combining the membership with Web3 tech, but with less difficulties in terms of the user experiences. They use Word, and that aligns with some most Web2 people feel familiar with like the journey steps instead of an NFT. And yeah, just tell us what do you think is the biggest hurdle, like the challenge for Web2 users to join the Web3 wave, and what are the key roles that you think are really important in order to reach the ideal Web3 entertainment in which your project's playing?
Yep, sure. I think this is the part that I'll jump in as well. So I understand the concerns and the questions coming from, right? So just wanting to also share that, you know, I know that there's a lot of not to say hurdles, but a lot of learning curves and opportunities for the Web3 side of things to really you know, grow from here. Not taking Starbucks as an example and all that, but I think generally as the progress or the process goes, right, from Web2 to Web2, you know that there is a bunch of you know, that's where the user base, the crowd, the adoption is and all that. So to bring in all those, right, I think a couple of pointers that I wanted to share is that one is the scaling. I think scaling is still one of the biggest factors that we really need to take into considerations. Given today, right, say for example, L1s on that's current existing or common L1s that has gone through, right? I think that's where I take a moment to also share that, you know, what BNB does very well in this, right, is that they have actually supported more than 2 million daily active users before, which we haven't seen across most of the chain and all. So this is where I think a lot of L1 chains, I think during this winter or the bear market period, we are all building and testing out, making sure that, you know, the scalability and the scaling side of things can really solve the solutions. Hence, we are implementing a lot of these solutions like ZK, roll-up solutions and all that we are introducing in the upcoming months and all that. So you will see that a lot of L1s are working toward this as well, because that's where the solutions that we all know that is a common side of things that we really need to fix on that scaling side. So that's where that's one. I think the next one, I think without sugarcoating anything, right, I think it's common knowledge in the news and all that as well. We needed to balance a little bit about the ease of use and also the security side of things, to make things ease of use and all that, because on the decentralized world, how is it being governed and how is it being you know, protected and all that. So that's where two parts to it. I think this is where you will see you know, AA being introduced, MPC wallets and all that this year itself. That this is where the market can grow, right? And I mean in the innovative side of things. So this is being introduced to make sure that, you know, when user Web2 comes in or not, it's being taken care of, like the MPC, the account abstractions. These are the things that will be you know, a step to really make sure that, you know, when mass adoption comes, right, it doesn't backfire us and all that, right? So it goes on that safe journey and all. And I think a lot of these discussions along the line that, you know, how the process and the flow of this can come together, the cost and all that, right? So this is where I think a lot of our partners and projects and ecosystems are working together to make sure that we can do a lot of tests and learn during this period of time, and we will introduce more when things are a little bit more stable, and making sure that we don't rush through things this time as well, because I think in the bull market everybody's rushing to launch something and all that. I think now is the time that we launch, but we test and learn and make sure that everything is secure, safe, and all that. Hence, in NodeReal, we do one-stop shop solution, right? Not only we build, but we also get confirmations from ecosystems and like BNB chain and all that. We're working with security partners that to make sure that these are being secured and all that as well. And we are doing a lot more testings, like even for the FNCY chain, right? With FNCY, like Eon side and all that. So those are the few things that I think we are tackling the hurdles and all that. We are aware of it, and we do taking probably baby steps and also bigger steps to certain things as well, depending on the market conditions and all.
Good. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, and other guys wants to share or maybe continue with Freddie's points.
Right, maybe I'll jump in just a little. So Freddie is absolutely right that we need to get the base infrastructure layer ready. So everything that is required to support this growth, this adoption needs to be there. And I mean, solutions like MPC wallets, having different services in place is necessary, final. So I think something that's lacking in this adoption wave or this push for adoption is really, I would say, the perception of blockchain/crypto in the last decade, right? Bitcoin just did their 14-year anniversary, 14-year anniversary. People still think that blockchain is crypto, but they do not realize that cryptocurrency is powered by blockchain. So when people come tell me, right, isn't crypto or blockchain shady stuff, something to use to speculate for assets for profits, I think this is where the confusion happens. So I made it always clear that we are selling blockchain. My job is to promote blockchain. So people need to divorce the concept that something can be on blockchain and it's not cryptocurrency, it's not speculation. And basically, we are just exploring the points, the benefits of blockchain to say, right? Transparency, decentralization. So I think once that concept is divorced, we really see the mass adoption coming in.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I also agree. Yeah, a lot of people still contribute cryptocurrency as blockchain technology. But yeah, going for me, I think giving a more of a general population users point of view side, I think hurdles like I mentioned briefly before, like even wallet creation is difficult for some people. Token trading, interchain operability, swapping and bridging, so on and so forth. There's so many parts that users aren't familiar with, and I think a lot of that is due to like how new it is. Like the term itself is pretty new to some people, but that's why I think that like I mentioned before, we need to make it as simple as possible to make it so that it's easy as possible to understand for the general population. So for us at FNCY, like I mentioned before, like when a user creates a FNCY account, a wallet is generated automatically. But also like when users play the games or like watch content and stuff, like the example given before with Stepin, it should be as seamless as possible, so that like when you're using that app, when you're using that service, the user doesn't even need to know that there's blockchain elements built into it. It should be as seamless as that. And what we're doing here at FNCY as well is when you're playing the games, when you're watching the content, you'll be able to earn rewards for this, and you'll also be able to spend and consume those rewards all within the same app, all within the same service. So it'll be a sound cycle of like consume, earn, spend, consume, earn, spend. It'll be like a circle. It'll be a cycle, and I think that's like as simple as we can we're trying to make it as simple as possible like that, so that yeah, users don't have to go through that extensive research of what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain technology is. I mean, sure, if they know that it'll be good, but it shouldn't have to be a requirement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also that circle will be really important. Yeah, because we want quality of contents, and also we want users, that we focus on blockchain technologies. Yeah, that is truly important. Yeah. Yeah, but actually it's still in this kind of early exper experimentation stage. I think just it's just kind of like, yeah, it's in a very early age. But do you think how long will it take to reach the mature stage, and what are the necessary actions to reach there?
Did you want to go, Freddie, or?
I was thinking that maybe I want to give LZ to go first though, on the probably on the bigger ecosystem and L1 side of things. We hear from him first, and then we will chip in from there.
Sure. Honestly, I personally think that we are still very, very early into the space. So I would compare this period to be maybe before like .com boom, where everybody's starting to build. We are seeing a bit of decline because of, macro reasons and all. But the strong players will remain. The strong players will continue building, and they might actually grow to the heights of the FANGs, the Fortune 500s, in near future. So how do we get there? I really believe in one concept: education. So this is why BNB Chain has been educating, partnering with different tertiary institutions to promote the concept of blockchain on a general level, and basically try to make it fun for them to actually try to understand. And I truly believe that this is actually the future that people should actually jump on. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, LZ, for the insights, right? I think Yon and I are also sharing the same mindset on this front as well. Just one moment, I clear my throat, yeah. Yeah, so I think all of us are believing that, year 2022 is a very good experimental, but I think it's more like a test and learn year for all of us. We tested certain approach and how we fine tune certain approach that we will take moving forward, right? I think overall blockchain infrastructure are still expensive and complex in a way that many people still find, like say for example, like William and Yon also mentioned the hurdles that people feel and all that, right? I think that's where we as infrastructure wanted to play a bigger role and all that, right? Instead of being the tech guys always behind the scene, we wanted to be a little bit more proactive and be a little bit more bold and reaching out to projects and innovative projects to really work with them, right? To see how this how we can actually package and do well in every aspects of the blockchains to give a different impressions of things, right? Like say for example, today NodeReal is still playing a part of a one-stop infrastructure solution. Like I mentioned, we do application security data services when it comes to this. And I think one examples of blockchains that how we wanted to incorporate this into our everyday lives is a very good example from FNCY, right? Their slogan is that blockchain in everyday life. So this is really like bringing a lot of adoptions and a lot of confidence in there that you can use this in every way that we can go. I think education still plays a good part of this as well. So that's where we wanted to do well in this front. I think the past year's extreme events and all that, right, they really help us to go back to our feet, like taking one step back instead of rushing things through and all that. We don't just go through and rush through things and all that. I think this year we fine-tune a lot of products, fine-tune a lot of services, identified and make sure that the company goals and also structure along that line, right, that will grow toward this as well. I think on the innovation side, in the security side of things, I think this year will be more of a repair of the industry confidence and all that. But generally, I still think that we don't need to discount the whole industry values and all that, right, because of this temporary dip and all. And as NodeReal, we wanted to play a more consistent role and part in every projects that we talk to. I think there's this cycle that we created, and we wanted to make sure that this is a takeaway for the audience or the viewers as well, right? We have an end-to-end services that, we wanted to start with consulting. I think every projects and every L1 ecosystems and all that, they wanted everybody should gather together, brainstorm, share, and focus on their business and all that. That's on the consulting side. I think more of an alignment as well. And then we design the projects and all that, right? I think, for example, today when we talk to FNCY, we start off with consulting, and we start off with designing the work, developing, and of course, at the end of the day, we run operationally to test it out and make sure everything is okay. So on this cycle, right, I think there are a lot of things that can be implemented and can be focused on, and to really strengthen the education. And also the education doesn't just go to users and all that, right? It encompasses all of us all together, that we also learning on a day-to-day. There are new things to be implemented, then how we can incorporate this best learning to the things that we are doing as well. So this is just my personal thought that I hope that it helps the industry and the viewers as well.
Yeah, and also Ian wants to share.
Yeah, just to chime in here, I also believe that we definitely are in the early stage. As much as NFTs and like blockchain and Web3 have been the hot and like trendy topics recently, or in the past 2 years, as much as how trendy it was, there's so much more to reveal and so much more ahead. If we look at like the big platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and what it took and like how long it took for them to really blossom into what they are today, it took quite a long time, like the creator ecosystem for YouTube, for example, with its monetization program, with like the creators, the ad brands, and like YouTube itself, that took years in development and years for it to develop into what it is today. So and also like what LZ mentioned before, education, of course, is really going to be crucial. But I also think that education and also solutions to like the issues that that the users are facing today are going to be needed, and they're going to be needed to be solved. So if I give an example, like the example of the BHGC NFTs that I mentioned earlier, when we sold that on our FNCY platform last month, it was available with our FNCY token or FNCY coin, but it also was available with credit card purchases. So like if it was only available with cryptocurrency, users would have to go to like a exchange, sign up with that exchange, link their bank accounts with that exchange, and purchase the FNCY token, bring that over to the FNCY platform on their FNCY wallet, and then purchase. That's a big hurdle, I mean, like 90% would probably give up on that first step of signing up with the exchange, So solving problems like that by providing like a credit card solution, that's just one baby step into bringing about that mass adoption. And we're solving those problems, issues one by one, step by step. We're definitely in the early stage, getting to that mature stage, but so much more to go. And we're here for it. We're trying to make it as easy as possible, and
Yeah. What about tokenomics? So like, do you guys want to share what's your guys' opinions about tokenomics was in this kind of early stage? Yeah, this combining with the entertainment industry.
For tokenomics too, I mean, just even the term tokenomics, I think it's going to be pretty difficult for the average users to understand, especially with tokenomics being very different for each project. Even with that, I think education, and even within education, I think there's different ways to execute that knowledge. But yeah, I believe that we at FNCY, we're trying to provide that in like the simplest way. Like, for example, we're making like infographics, trying to make it so that the average users can digest that information.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe from a technical basis for the blockchain like basis, like what about tokenomics? Like you guys Freddie or like Li Zhu wants to share something?
I think I'll go first. In terms of tokenomic side of things, right? I think that to be very honest and upfront as well. I think that there's no one size that fits all. Like how you mentioned, right? Tokenomics is different across projects and all that, and it can be very different as well. And there's no a perfect solutions or perfect tokenomics and all that. Otherwise, it will be a copy and paste work for everyone, which is easier, right? So I think a lot of these tokenomics boils down to the usability and also the business models of every project and all that. So I think that's where I wanted to bring back very fundamental stuff and all that, right? Just reevaluating like alignment between the business and the tech side and on the project side, right? You play a bigger part on identifying the best tokenomics that suits your need during that period of time. So I'm just gonna be very generic about it on this front. Without hyping on too much on the tokenomic side. I think tokenomics is also still a test and learn. Some projects, along the line that when they grows and all that, right? When they go on to an app chain and all that, they need validators and they need to think about rewards and all that. That could be a shift and change of tokenomics as well. So it takes time to really beautified or maybe make it better. But I think along the line is that there's still no one size that fit all. Probably LZ, I see that he's very eager to share.
Oh, no. I was just replying and looking at my 2,500 emails from after New Year. But basically, I think both of Eon and Freddie, right? You guys raised amazing points and all. For me, I think the most important point of designing a tokenomics is to make it sustainable. There's no point paying out very high yield or like giving out very a hell of rewards, right? But you're not sustainable. So tokenomics isn't exactly it's not rocket science, but as long you have to find value accrual for the token somehow. So the platform revenue is somewhat equated to the token itself. So as long as people try to make it, hate to use this word, like Ponzinomics, avoid it, then I think everybody should be good on this.
Sure. Yeah, so let's come to the last question. So for our panel. So yeah, I've heard that you guys have shared you own projects on the basis of your projects, but can you tell more about your project's roadmaps in the new year? Yeah, maybe like something that you want to share about the next year's plan or like the roadmap and also something that really connected with your project.
Yep, sure. I think on my side of things, I think roadmap is just one thing that we will be sharing and really look forward to. But I think some of the focuses I think on the NodeReal side of things, right, that we wanted to also drive awareness of this is that we will be focusing a lot more collaborations with ones and all that, right? Typically, for example, in this case, will be like with BNB chain. Why is that, right? Is that we are still optimizing, the potential of high performance, high throughput, and low cost blockchain. So in this space, right, we are contributing to the world, like how I mentioned, right, probably validator sets, probably some solutions like app chain, ZK solutions, and all that. So those are the things that we wanted to do more and work very closely with the L1 chain and all that as well. Given that Vitalik also share a lot more solutions and proposals and all that, right? So we wanted to sit down with the L1 chains like BNB to see how we can really contribute and materialize that front to make it easy for the projects and developers as well to continue to build on BNB chain. And in terms, that's on the L1 side of things that we wanted to focus. I think more of the working together with BNB Chain, how these three things like the app chain, ZK, and the rollup solutions being adopted across, right? I think it very simply that, you know, NodeReal will be focusing a lot more on enterprise solutions and like Simita, like the app chain and all that. We will be focusing on working with Web2 companies and all that, right? Just wanting to bridge them over to Web3 and all. So wanting to share the best practices and all that, right? To build that infrastructure solutions for them. So we will be a lot more focusing on that, especially on the L1 side. I think on the middleware, I think there will be some decentralized solutions and all that, right? That will be shared across and all that. I think this will be a very good focus because a lot of people are talking about decentralizations and so on and so forth. I think that's where we want to play a bigger role in decentralized storage, management, security, scalability, speed, and all that, right? Just to make sure that, you know, it can sustain that mass adoption when it comes through all things. Third one, I think there will be a lot of working together with DeFi projects and all that to really do more about the user-centric value-added solutions and all that, because I think a lot of the attention has shifted to DeFi's right now, right? So I think there's more of innovative designs that will come up in this year as well. So that's where we wanted to work closely with the projects from the infrastructure side of things. I think it goes hand in hand, like 50-50. What we wanted to do, what we wanted to build, and all that, it has to be adopted and accepted by our clients and all that as well. So that's just my roadmap and my front, at least for the next 6 months or so. Yeah,
hope to see it. Yeah, great to hear for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, other guys wants to share about you?
Yeah, for us at FNCY, we're currently discussing with numerous brands at the moment, not only with our own original games, but we're also in discussions with third-party games as well to onboard onto FNCY. Also, we are working to complete a membership and rewards-based system that'll be integrated onto our FNCY platform soon, as well as a user-created web novel and web comics blockchain platform. Also, a music service as well, where songwriters and users can interact and create. And social and e-commerce services are also a big part about the FNCY roadmap. And yeah, we're also in collaboration with, or in talks with, a lot of diverse projects, both Web2 and Web3, utilizing their IPs and bringing NFT projects and bringing services. We're also continuously working with NodeReal to update and upgrade our FNCY mainnet. And I think one of the biggest roadmaps that we have on our radar right now is our very own metaverse content called Grand Cross Meta World. The teaser trailer for that actually released, I believe, last month. So yeah, that can be searched on YouTube. It looks pretty awesome. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And any further updates and announcements will be announced on our social media channels, as well as like our Telegram group and communities. So yeah, be sure to follow us there as well.
Yeah, I will check it out. I will check it out on YouTube's and also the social medias. Yeah, and yeah, looking forward to see it. Yeah, and also maybe Li Zhu. Yeah.
Right. So I don't have the cool updates that Freddie or Eon has, right? But as an ecosystem, we are always working on things. So we're working on technological advances. We're working on the ZK chain, basically the rollup that'll be announced. I mean, it's already announced in October. I think the testnet might be coming out soon. So we are also working on a new concept of a chain that I don't think I can share any details yet. So that's on the technological front. On the business side, I think we are actually working on multiple deals. I think bigger and better partnerships. And on the ecosystem side, we aim to support more projects to help them grow, to help them find the product market fit, And I think, yeah, that's kind of boring compared to them, but this is what we've been doing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you guys want to share more? Like, yeah, more specific, maybe in Ha, like for you just mentioned the music, and can you share more about from this kind of perspective, like what you're gonna do, like what the consumers wants to have, or like what's consumers' opinions and what you're gonna maybe like show the rewards. Yeah, maybe just tell us more about the music side. Yeah, because I really love music and also I'm a big fan.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I can disclose anything, especially that specific with music, but I think I can disclose that it's going to be where users create and they'll be able to earn the rewards. And with that rewards, like I mentioned, it's going to be a universal cycle where they'll be able to spend those rewards on the FNCY platform itself, so that yeah, we're trying to make as less hurdle as possible, you know, and we're not trying to make any unnecessary hurdles. So you'll be able to use that, like in the social and commerce part that I mentioned, you'll be able to use that on those services as well. But yeah,
Pretty.
yeah, music, I can't reveal too much, but it's yeah, it's gonna be, like I mentioned, like user generated content is key, social element is key. So I think those are some hints that I can give at the moment.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. And yeah, and also the time is limited. And I think, yeah, that was really a awesome discussion today. And you guys all have share some wonderful ideas with us. And really thank you for that. And I hope that for this kind of industry entertainment, that together with blockchain and also with gaming and like music and also this kind of entertainment industries will be a really good point and a good push for the next generation. Maybe, yeah, like maybe in this year it will be a really push out, and also we hope to see it, and we hope to see that you guys, like those of your projects, are doing pretty well this year, and maybe more collaborations with each other. Yeah, and yeah, so time flies, but yeah, we have to say goodbye right now, and hope the guys panel can inspire you a lot, and also the viewers and also other guys can really be really appreciated, and yeah, really learn a lot. And then also for me, for the Web2 entrepreneurs, I just like jump into this kind of areas, like, yeah. And for Web2, I was being like entrepreneur for the entertainment industry, like the platform. Yeah, and I really absorb a lot of knowledge from you guys. Yeah, yeah, and also, yeah, thank you for sharing, and thank you again for taking you guys time for really let me learn a lot and let us learn. And we really appreciate it. And maybe see you next time. Yeah. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for sharing your views. It's really excellent, insightful.